Right now at 5, we start this morning off with some breaking news coming out of Galena, Kansas. Authorities respond to reports of a shooting in the town.
We've got another mild start for us across the area, and it's quite breezy ahead of some showers on the way. We'll talk the changes coming up.
And we take you to Treasures on Main in Carthage to learn how they're helping people get back on their feet.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've had a couple of decent mornings now after Monday morning started off so darn cold. Unfortunately, we do have some colder weather on the way. That's a little too far back. Here we go. This is what we want to talk about. We'll get to that colder weather in just a moment. So as we go through today, it's another pretty decent day for us. We could see a stray storm or two out toward Yates Center later this afternoon and into the evening. Otherwise, most of us dry. It won't be until tomorrow morning, as we've been talking about. Here comes this line of storms from the west. Now, as we head into the early parts of the morning, we could see a strong storm or two, but as you can see, this line quickly loses its punch as it starts to roll off to the south and east. Here it is at 10 a.m. By noon, it's a little further to the east, and it starts to get reorganized, but it won't really get nasty until it heads a little further to our south and east. So this is where our best opportunity for rain chances is going to be through about 11 o'clock, and then, of course, that'll taper off as the day progresses. MoDOT camera at 20th and range line. We are looking pretty good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. And as we take a look at temperatures, we're at 65 in Joplin, south breeze at 21, gusting upwards of 31, and it's going to continue to be that way, upwards of 30, 40 miles an hour through the day. We got 64 Pittsburgh, Lamar, Nevada, 65 Fort Scott, 67 Miami, and 63 in Neosho. As we get our day started, again, breezy, gusts 30, 40 miles an hour, increasing cloud cover into the lower 70s. And as we head into the afternoon, another day near 80, still mostly cloudy though, and still quite breezy. And unfortunately, it remains breezy into the overnight as well. But we stay really mild, down to 70 by 10 o'clock, overnight lows in the mid 60s, and we will remain cloudy and very windy. Storms tomorrow, maybe a few showers on Friday, and then check this out, looking at that record-breaking Saturday coming up. That's a possibility at least. Quite cold though, so outdoor vegetation in by Friday as we cool down heading into the weekend. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Breaking overnight, a shooting in Galena, Kansas leaves one man dead and another man in jail. Authorities responded to reports of a shooting on Tuesday evening just before 9 p.m. Galena Police and Cherokee County Sheriff's deputies stretched crime scene tape around a portion of 811 Columbus Avenue in the northwest part of town. Little information is being released at this time, but Sheriff David Groves did confirm one man is dead.
Emergency personnel arrived and efforts were made to revive the shooting victim. They were unsuccessful, and we do have a man that passed away as a result of apparent gunshot wounds.
Sheriff Groves went on to say he did not believe there was an ongoing threat to the public. Again, this is a developing story, and we will have more information for you on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, as it becomes available. A man is now charged after a Missouri statewide Amber Alert Saturday evening. 23-year-old Matthew Honeycutt of Neosho is charged with felony kidnapping. Authorities are holding him in the Jasper County Jail with bonds set at $250,000 cash only. The Amber Alert was issued for a 7-year-old Sarcoxy area girl. According to court filings, Honeycutt had the mother's permission to drive her car from her address with the child. The destination was 10 minutes away to pick up a dog in Sarcoxy and then to drive straight back. He was gone 6 hours with the girl. The girl was found safe at I-44 exit 4. She is currently in state custody. We're learning more about a Saturday morning shooting in Joplin. 28-year-old Christopher Carter now faces charges of 4th-degree assault and unlawful use and possession of a weapon. Court records also say he has history of crimes involving weapons. Joplin police believe Carter was denied entry into Club XO. They say a patron saw him walking to a car nearby. The patron said Carter then opened a car door and got an AR-15 pistol. Authorities say that was when the patron feared for the safety of himself and the public and grabbed Carter. The gun was fired during the struggle. No one was hit by the stray bullet. Little shop nestled in the city of Carthage, just off the city square, aims to help those trying to get back on their feet. KOAM's Carrie Worthen joins us live in studio this morning to tell us more. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Tanya. The Crisis Center and Treasures on Main have partners with not only brings in money, but joy as well. The goal of this partnership is to help those experiencing crisis, such as homelessness, get back on their feet. The Crisis Center helps provide shelter, food, and even a chance to earn money while living in the shelter. The thrift store allows those staying at the center to pick out clothes off the racks.
They being a recipient of the gifts that I receive here means everything.
To get their new clothing, those living at the center earn vouchers by helping in the thrift store.
All right, thanks, Carrie. What kind of items do they have in the thrift store?
So they have clothes as their main thing. They sell a lot of clothes, and then they also have purses, shoes, belts, decor for the home. Of course, they have kids' clothes and kids' toys as well. So there's a little bit for everything, and even the women and men in the shelter can use the decor in the thrift shop to decorate their rooms in the center.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, thank you so much. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, one of the most successful coaches in Southwest Missouri resigns. We'll have why in sports. Plus, the battle of DeSantis and Disney continues on, but is it hurting DeSantis' chance of making a presidential run? And the FTC plans to study how social media is affecting kids. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
One of the most successful girls basketball coaches in the state of Missouri resigns. Carl Junction's Brad Shorter announces he is leaving the program after 9 years as head coach. In those 9 years, no doubt, Carl Junction has been one of the best programs in the state. They've made 4 trips to the Final Four in the last 7 years, finishing as state runner-up twice. And they're coming off arguably their best season in program history. Last season, Carl Junction was 30-2 overall, setting a new program record for wins and claiming their 8th consecutive district title. Here's Shorter on his decision and telling the team last Friday.
It was a great ride, and obviously it was a very difficult decision to make, and I didn't have any clarity till late. Gosh, it was a difficult day and emotional time for all of us. But I think our kids, they understood why. We talk about keeping our priorities in check with our faith, family, and then school and basketball. So they were able to do that. And I needed to do that, you know, obviously keeping family first and being able to spend more time with my son is going to be a big piece, and my wife moving forward.
Well, the Missouri Southern Lions are tied for first place in the MIAA baseball standings. The Lions are 21-6 in conference play and 33-10 overall. They have 6 MIAA games to go, but first, Southern has one more non-conference game today at home against Washburn. Missouri Southern on a 5-game winning streak entering the day. Against the Ichabods, the Lions finish it early, run ruling Washburn 17-7. They hit 6 home runs. Chayton Beck goes 2 for 4 in the game with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Well, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas also on the field for some non-conference action on the road against Missouri S&T. That one final. Gorillas rolling big, 14-3. Big game for Austin Warkins. He goes 2 for 3 with a homer and 4 RBIs. Next up for Pitt State, a 3-game series against Newman beginning on Friday. We have a big interleague softball matchup in southeast Kansas with the Columbus Titans hosting a doubleheader against the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons. Pittsburgh is 6-2 to start the season while Columbus is 8-1. The Titans try to push their winning streak to 7 games against the Purple Dragons. Fast start for Columbus. Aubrey Saporito fights it off through the right side. Katie Simpson scores. Give the Titans the first run of the day. Later in the inning, the 2-on for Gracie Major. She drills it high and deep to right center. Clears the fence for the 3-run jack. Titans up 4-0 and still no outs. Columbus bats around, Major up again, and she comes through. The bases loaded. drops it in the grass to score 2. Titans go up 9-0 after 1. Second inning, more from Columbus. This time it's Katie Simpson all the way to the fence. That scores Jalen Rodriguez, now 10-0. Titans after 2. But in the third, here comes Pittsburgh. Maddie Burdick rips one through the left side, runs scores for the Purple Dragons, and they're on the board. Burdick into second safely. Next batter, Callie Terry delivers, hammers this to right center. Burdick comes home. Terry in for the double. Pittsburgh gets 2 back in the third, but Columbus finishes this one off in 5. Titans with their 7th straight, beating Pittsburgh 12-2. So in game 2, Titans try to make it 8 straight and sweep the doubleheader, and that's what they did. It's a shutout in that one, with Columbus winning 10-0. Titans are now 10-1 to start the season. Still to come, in honor of Holocaust remembrance, we learn about the harrowing story of one survivor. And we'll take another look at that forecast for you when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. So we've got a very windy and warm day ahead of us today with thunderstorms coming in as we head into tomorrow morning. Now, by this afternoon, there could be a couple of scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder out there, but this activity, as you can see, is very isolated and does not last very long. Our biggest opportunity for thunderstorms will come tomorrow morning. Here we are at 6 a.m. We get this batch of showers, maybe a few thunderstorms starting to roll through. Here it is by 10. There may be a strong storm or two in southeast Kansas, but honestly, that's not terribly likely at this point. It tries to start reorganizing by noon as it rolls to our east, and it really will take off as it heads further to our east out of our immediate area, and that's where they're expecting some severe weather. So our best rain chances, though, through tomorrow morning up till about 11 a.m. noon, and then after that they will taper off and we will clear out. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, looking good this morning. Same with the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. We've got a really nice start out there, except for that wind. We're at 65, south breeze 21, gusting to 31, and gusts from 30 to 40 will be likely through today and into tonight. We got 64 Pittsburgh, Lamar, Parsons, 65 Chanute and Neodesha, as well as Fort Scott, 67 Miami, 63 Neosho, and 64 in Carthage. As we go through our day, again, breezy, increasing clouds, so it'll be mostly cloudy by late morning, but into the lower 70s again. Highs will return to near 80 degrees today, so no records, but quite warm and cloudy. And as we head into this evening, we hold on to cloudy and breezy conditions, but we also stay quite mild, only down to 70 by 10, dropping back eventually to an overnight low in the mid-60s. Got thunderstorm chances tomorrow morning, maybe a couple more on Friday morning, and then check that out. If you've got outdoor plants or vegetation, it is going to get very cold into the weekend, so make sure you're prepared for that by Friday. Look at that low Saturday of 32. Well, Donald Trump has a new line of attack against Ron DeSantis as the Florida governor battles with the Walt Disney Corporation. Republican-controlled state legislature will advance a bill aimed at allowing a state takeover of Disney-controlled land. But many in the GOP believe DeSantis has gotten in over his head in his fight with one of the Sunshine State's largest employers. Brian Todd has the story.
Florida's powerful and popular governor Ron DeSantis under increasing pressure over his fight with Disney. Former President Donald Trump posting today on his social media website that DeSantis is being, quote, absolutely destroyed by Disney, and that DeSantis is engaging in a political stunt. Trump joins other top Republicans like possible presidential candidate Chris Christie, who are slamming DeSantis for not being able to outmaneuver Disney's CEO.
That's not the guy I want sitting across from President Xi and negotiating our next agreement with China, or sitting across from Putin and trying to resolve what's happening in Ukraine if you can't see around a corner that Bob Iger created for you.
The heat being turned up on DeSantis after his latest threat against Disney to raise Disney's taxes or build something right near Disney's land near Orlando.
People have said, you know, maybe have maybe create a state park, maybe try to do more amusement parks. Someone even said, like, maybe you need another state prison. Who knows? I mean, I just think that the possibilities are endless.
DeSantis' aides say he was joking, according to journalist Mark Caputo, but the stakes are high in his battle against the Magic Kingdom. DeSantis is vowing to retaliate against Disney after the entertainment and theme park giant thwarted DeSantis' attempt for the state to take over power of Disney's special taxing district in that area of Florida.
Disney's a big job generator. It's an incredibly popular place. Like, people come to Florida to go to Disney World. Disney produces very popular films. How much is this going to be a benefit to Ron DeSantis in the long run?
A risk that the man who won his last election in November by almost 20 percentage points has seemed very willing to take. DeSantis' spat with Disney started last year when a Florida law was passed that he backed, limiting instruction of sexual orientation and gender identity in schools. Disney spoke out against that bill. Analysts say by declaring war on Disney, DeSantis is upending the Republican landscape, going against the traditional pro-business values of the party.
Historically, that's not something that the free market GOP has looked to do, but it does signal that we're in a different GOP now. It's sort of culture wars all the way down.
And observers say his willingness to take on Disney is a measure of DeSantis' overall swagger.
As he has grown into the office and the exercise of power, the likes of which we haven't seen in the state.
Ron DeSantis made rounds on Capitol Hill Tuesday trying to win the endorsements of Republican lawmakers for his presidential bid. He's so far picked up the endorsements of 3 House Republicans. Donald Trump has gotten many more, including 7 Republicans from Florida. That brings us to our question for you this morning. How much power should local governments have over businesses? Should it be a lot, some, very little, no power? We want to hear from you. Make sure you vote through our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can also do so through the app and take part in our Facebook discussion. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a group of doctors opposed to abortion is asking the Supreme Court to restrict access to a key abortion drug. While the legal battle plays out, the justices are already considering what to do about mifepristone. Nearly 2 weeks ago, a federal judge in Texas ruled the FDA should not have approved the drug back in 2000. Then last week, Justice Samuel Alito put a temporary hold on that decision to give the court more time to review the case. He also asked to hear from the doctors. They wrote in a filing that regulators flouted the law, disregarded red flags in their own safety data, intentionally evaded judicial review, and continually placed politics above women's health. And now a response from the Justice Department is expected sometime tonight or last night or early Wednesday morning. Alito set a deadline for the justices to reach a decision 1 minute before midnight on Wednesday. 1 in 4 middle and high school students may be abusing ADHD medications, and that's according to a study published Tuesday in the journal JAMA Network Open. Researchers analyzed data collected between 2005 and 2020 by Monitoring the Future. And that's a federal survey that has measured drug and alcohol use among secondary school students nationwide each year for nearly 50 years. The lead author of the study says some schools had little to no misuse of ADHD medications, while in other schools, more than 25% of students had used the stimulants in non-medical ways. Meds can be abused to get high or combined with alcohol or other drugs to boost a high. Schools in the suburbs in all regions of the U.S., except the Northeast, had higher rates of teen misuse of ADHD medications. The Federal Trade Commission says it is working to address concerns linking social media to mental health issues in teenagers. On Tuesday, FTC Commissioner Alvera Bedoya testified at a subcommittee hearing of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. He said there was evidence that suggested some uses of social media do hurt certain groups of teens and children, but he cautioned important nuances and caveats exist in the research. Bedoya announced the agency is actively working to hire in-house psychologists to look at these concerns. He also shared the FTC has been consulting with public health officials and medical professionals to understand the available scientific evidence on the matter. The Biden administration wants to continue to offer COVID-19 vaccines and treatments to the uninsured at no cost. The White House unveiled a $1.1 billion plan on Tuesday to continue its COVID program for the uninsured after the federal supply is exhausted. The two-part initiative would use pharmacies, local health departments, and federally supported health centers to deliver the care. Biden administration health officials say the program would run through December of 2024. It's not clear yet how many pharmacies will participate, as they will be expected to conduct their own outreach to underserved populations. At this point in time, not many people are getting vaccinated or boosted for COVID-19, and the rate is even lower among the uninsured. Health experts say while the program is a good idea, that educating the uninsured about the need for vaccination is equally important. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves an absolutely wonderful day for us across the area. We'll take a look at that forecast and those warm temperatures when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, it may not be athletic signings, but some students from the electrical program signed to start internships or their careers.
And we've got a warm and windy day ahead of us, breezy already across the area. What changes is this wind blowing in? We'll have that answer coming up.
And the Spiva Center for the Arts hosts a 1,000 words poetry event.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's much warmer this morning than it was yesterday morning, and it's going to be a pretty pleasant day, but we've just got to deal with some really gusty winds. Well, mostly cloudy skies too, so not as much sunshine, but that's not going to stop us from warming up later today. A stray shower or rumble of thunder is possible by this afternoon, but as you can see, it's going to be very isolated and very short-lived. Our better chance for showers and thunderstorms will come toward tomorrow morning. Here we are at 6. Got a few scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms in there, and this will continue to press off to the east. Here we are at 10 a.m. By noon, from Stockton, just west of Monette, Neosho, Anderson, Grove, it tries to start to reorganize, and it's expected to successfully do so, but thankfully, immediately after it begins to exit our area, and they are worried about some severe weather off to our southeast Thursday afternoon. Thankfully, we're just going to get on the backside of this, and you can see where our best rain chances will be. They increase really through 11 o'clock, noon, and then after that, they will quickly drop off as this rain clears out on our Thursday afternoon. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line looks great. Same from the camera from KDOT at 69 and 400, of course, just south of Pittsburgh. From 7th and range line, we're looking all right. 65, south breeze at 21, gusting to 31, and gusts of 30 to 40 miles an hour will be common today. 64, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Chanute 65, same with Parsons, 66, Chitopa, Miami. Neosho, a little bit cooler, but not by much, down to 62, 59 in Monette. We get our morning started, breezy, increasing clouds, lower 70s by late morning. As we head into the afternoon, again, mostly cloudy skies, very gusty winds out there, but highs not too far off from yesterday as they're still looking to push right around 80 degrees. And this evening, we're going to stay a little bit warmer even. We're going to drop back down only 70 by 10. Still mostly cloudy, still breezy, and overnight lows in the mid-60s as we head into tonight. All right, looking ahead, Thursday, still mid-70s, but those storm chances, maybe a morning shower or two Friday, mid-60s, and we hit a cold spell. If you've got outdoor vegetation, get it wrapped up, get it brought in if you can. You've got through Friday to make sure you have a plan for it. So drop 43 down to freezing Saturday night, not much above freezing on Sunday night, so we've got 3 or 4 nights of pretty chilly weather and a pretty chilly weekend. Look at these temperatures. However, we turn around, staying in the upper 50s, lower 60s with a few more shower and thunderstorm chances through next week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. It was signing day at Pitt State, but not for the athletes. Tuesday was all about students in the electrical program. 9 students signed with companies for full-time employment and 3 signed internships. Industry representatives were in attendance to celebrate, and officials say it's important that these students get the recognition they deserve.
Gives us an opportunity to promote the companies that they're going to work for. Our students, they'll bring their families in, and it's just a fun environment, and I'm really looking forward to today's event.
The event was held in the rotunda of Pitt State's Kansas Technology Center. A retired professional baseball player is honoring local veterans with a parade and hunt. Fort Scott native Adam LaRoche is hosting the week-long hunt for veterans at his E3 ranch. The hunt kicked off on Tuesday with a parade through Fort Scott, showing support for the veterans.
Well, anytime I feel like the school can get out and support the community and any community endeavors that they're wanting to do, I just feel like it's important for them to see what our community is all about. A lot of these kids, maybe they haven't experienced a parade, maybe they've never seen a veteran, and it's just another opportunity to kind of bring real life to the classroom.
This isn't the first Veterans Hunt hosted by LaRoche, but it is the first one since the start of the pandemic. The Spiva Center for the Arts gave local poets a chance to put their skills to the test. They hosted their 15th annual 1,000 Words event. People were able to write a poem about the images on display for the center's National Photography exhibit. On Tuesday, those poems were read off, and there's a lot of history with the event.
It started with a creative writing class I was taking. It was a night class, and so we actually came to Spiva one night, and everybody picked a photo as a prompt, as a inspiration. And it went really well, and so we just have kept doing it over the years. In fact, we have a couple people here tonight who were at that first reading who are reading, so that's pretty cool.
The National Photography exhibit will run through May 13th. Little shop nestled in the city of Carthage, just off the city square, aims to help those trying to get back on their feet. KOAM's Carrie Worthen joins us live in studio this morning to tell us more. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Tanya. The Crisis Center and Treasures on Main have a partnership that not only brings in money, but joy as well. The goal of this partnership is to help those experiencing crisis, such as homelessness, get back on their feet. The Crisis Center helps provide shelter, food, and even a chance to earn money while living in the center. The thrift store allows those staying at the center to pick out clothes off the racks.
They being a recipient of the gifts that I receive here means everything.
To get their new clothing, those living at the center earn vouchers that by helping in the thrift store.
All right, thanks, Carrie. Is there any restrictions on who can stay at the center? Can families, just women, or is it co-ed women and men?
It's men and women. They can also, of course, if they have children, they can bring in children. They have so many rooms for men and so many rooms for women. I believe there's 30 people in the shelter right now. But they don't just take anybody off the street. You have to want it. You have to want to change and want to work towards a better future.
All right, thank you so much, Carrie. Well, on Tuesday, Pittsburgh State University held its annual research colloquium. A research colloquium is when students present their findings of experiments and trials in multiple topics. Judges were Pitt State faculty and other community members who volunteered to judge the students' findings and presentations. The students have been researching their projects since last fall.
Yeah, so I'm also part of the lab team. There's 4 of us, and then our advisor, and then her grad assistant. And so we kind of just worked for a few months on like how to implement it, like what kind of activities we wanted to do, how we wanted to gauge what these individuals were able to do.
There were 68 poster presentations, 25 oral presentations, and 17 virtual presentations. This morning, we're discussing local governments having power over businesses.
Florida's powerful and popular Governor Ron DeSantis under increasing pressure over his fight with Disney. Former President Donald Trump posting on his social media website that DeSantis is being, quote, absolutely destroyed by Disney, and that DeSantis is engaging in a political stunt.
Trump joins other top Republicans like possible presidential candidate Chris Christie, who are slamming DeSantis for not being able to outmaneuver Disney's CEO. The heat is turned up on DeSantis after his latest threat against Disney to raise Disney's taxes or build something right near Disney's land near Orlando.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. How much power should local governments have over businesses? So far, 75% of you say they should have no power, and 25% of you say they should have very little power. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through the app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, a zookeeper helps one of her orangutans learn how to breastfeed.
Plus, scientists discover a pristine coral reef. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from near City Hall in Carthage, Missouri. Topping World Watch in Beijing, at least 21 people have died after a fire breaks out at a hospital, making it one of the deadliest fires the capital has seen in recent years. Chinese state media reports 71 patients were evacuated from Chengfeng Hospital because of the blaze. The fire happened Tuesday afternoon and has since been put out. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Well, Tuesday was the internationally recognized Holocaust Remembrance Day. In the U.S., it's part of a week-long memorialization period featuring a ceremony at the Capitol on Thursday. In Israel, people across the country mark the event each year by stopping and standing quietly as sirens ring out. It's a time to memorialize the 6 million Jews, Nazis, and their collaborators murdered from 1933 to 1945. The day corresponds to the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, the largest such resistance from Jews during World War II. The date of that uprising on the Gregorian calendar is April 18, 1943. But Holocaust Remembrance Day can fall on other dates since it relies on the Hebrew calendar. With anti-Semitism on the rise, one Holocaust survivor is making an effort to tell her story. Edith Gross was just 15 years old at the time. She recounts her harrowing experience. She beat unimaginable odds, endured the horrors of the Holocaust, and lived to tell her story. As the Nazi grip on the country tightened, Jews were forced into ghettos and not allowed to run businesses. And then the transports to concentration camps began.
Orders pack everything you can carry, and you have to leave everything behind. We went for days. It seemed like for years. It was a nightmare, terrible. But finally we arrived at Birkenau, Auschwitz.
Many did not even survive the journey to the camps. Edith managed to follow her sister to the line. She never saw her brother again. After Auschwitz, Edith and her sister were moved to a forced labor camp. Students at the University of Khartoum recorded the moments when fellow students were evacuated with the help of the Sudanese armed forces Tuesday afternoon. About 100 students were trapped at the university for 4 days because of fierce fighting between the Sudanese armed forces and the rapid support forces that erupted over the weekend. Well, scientists discover a previously unknown coral reef off the coast of Ecuador's Galapagos Islands. The reef is more than a mile long. Was found on the top of an underwater mountain. The coral is believed to be several thousand years old and is full of marine life. Scientists who found the reef say it's a real challenge to study in deep water. Well, someone got a T-Rex for a bargain in Zurich. The skeleton sold below its expected range at an auction there. This Tyrannosaurus Rex measures 38 feet long and nearly 13 feet high. It was expected to bring in 5 to 8 million francs when it went under the hammer at Collar auctions, but sold for 4.8 million francs. Still pretty penny, which is about $5.3 million in the U.S. Promoters say the T-Rex named Trinity was built from bones retrieved at 3 dig sites in Montana and Wyoming between 2008 and 2013. Kohler Auction House said Tuesday's sale marks the first time this type of T-Rex skeleton has gone up for auction in Europe. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Got us a pretty decent start for our Wednesday morning. And by the way, we are halfway through the work week. That's what I tell you about Tuesday. It's always that it immediately starts that downhill run for us. All right, we head into this afternoon. Could see a stray shower or storm. These are going to be isolated to widely scattered at best, and they're not really going to last that long. Our best chance for showers and thunderstorms here in the next 24 hours is going to come tomorrow morning. So as we head into about 6 o'clock, you can see scattered showers, thunderstorms out in parts of southeast Kansas. These will continue to roll off to the east-southeast. We've got this ragged looking line of showers and thunderstorms now by 10 a.m. It's just crossing into Pittsburgh, starting into Joplin, Neosho, Miami. Then as we head to noon, this little raggedy line starts to try and get its act together, and that's because it's heading into an area that's a little more favorable for strong to severe thunderstorm development than what will be tomorrow. And then you watch this thing as it rapidly intensifies as it rolls to our east and out of our areas. So they are concerned about some severe weather across parts of Arkansas as we head into Thursday afternoon. All right, tomorrow, our rain chances, best ones come all the way through about 11 noon, and then they'll taper off quickly as this system exits on out of here. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looks pretty darn good so far. So does the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and range line, we're doing all right, not a bad day. 65, it's 21 miles an hour southerly breeze, 31 are the gusts, and it's going to be gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour throughout today and into tonight. 65, Fort Scott Chanute, 64 Neodesha, 66 Chitopa Miami, 62 Neosho, and 65 in Carthage. So get our day started again, increasing clouds, breezy, low 70s by late morning. We head into this afternoon. We hold on to mostly cloudy skies, breezy conditions, temperatures pushing near 80. And then as we head into tonight, we're looking pretty nice. Mid-60s, mostly cloudy, still breezy. Thunderstorms Thursday, showers Friday, much colder Friday night into the weekend. So if you got some outdoor vegetation, make sure you get it in or protected by Friday. We'll be back with more after this, but first, here's a live look from the Jasper County Courthouse in Carthage. We'll be right back.
Parenting is hard work, and a little help can go a long way. As a zookeeper in Virginia recently showed, that does not just apply to humans. It goes for animals as well. Rob Cardwell reports.
Meet the family. Father Farley, Mom Zoe, and a yet-to-be-named baby. But right after Zoe gave birth, zookeepers saw there was a problem.
She wasn't holding him on her chest, and we hadn't noticed him nursing yet, and she didn't do a great job nursing her first baby.
It's likely Zoe never learned to be a good mom because her own mother died unexpectedly when she was only 9 months old. The vet had an idea, a monkey see, monkey do kind of idea. She asked zookeeper Whitley Turner, a new mom herself with her son Caleb, to teach Zoe.
When I came into the barn, I had zero modesty. I wanted her to see everything.
It was an easy decision for Whitley to help. She'd also had a hard time in the beginning with breastfeeding.
And I wanted to make sure that she could see the latch once Caleb was latched on. And I was pointing at Caleb the whole time and pointing at her and her breasts.
It worked.
Within 24 hours, she had breastfed this baby. And ever since then, she's been taking really good care of it.
Whitley says she can't take all the credit. It was a team effort to teach Zoe how to be a good mom.
One of our keepers demonstrated with an orangutan stuffed animal, like this is how you hold them and they cling on.
Lessons that help bring an entire family together.
Watching Farley be attentive to Zoe and everything has been really amazing too, and watching her become a mom. This is like a special bond anyways, like, you know, moms always have each other's backs and we're always like helping each other, and it really does take a village.
Whitley takes care of a lot of animals here, but she says she'll always have a closer bond to Zoe after this.
Having her look me in the eye and then look down at what I'm doing, I'm like, she's totally taking this in.
So you're like part of the family now.
I feel like it.
Aunt Whitley.
That is so awesome. Well, Zoe the orangutan delivered her second baby back in December. Seems to be doing well. We'll be right back. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin could be back playing on the field soon. Tuesday, the team's general manager says Hamlin has been cleared to resume football activities. On January 2nd, the 25-year-old went into cardiac arrest after making a tackle in a game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Doctors and trainers administered CPR and used a defibrillator on the field to resuscitate Hamlin before he was taken out of the stadium in an ambulance. The Bills say 3 separate specialists have all agreed Hamlin can resume full activities. He has been participating in voluntary off-season workouts this week. Bills head coach Sean McDermott says the team is happy Hamlin is back. That's wonderful news. Well, as anything but your typical traffic stop in South Carolina, police pulled a man over on Sunday in Pickens in the northwest part of the state. And when officers started questioning the man, he asked them if they wanted to hear him play some of his instruments. And the man, who is from North Carolina, serenaded the officers. He first started playing the spoons, then he started strumming on a saw, and then a guitar. The officers say they enjoyed the traffic stop concert. Police let the man go without giving him a ticket. That was music to that man's ears.
I think there might be a reason that I am not very musical, because I follow the law so closely, it drives my wife up the wall. Like, she calls me a goody two-shoes. But you know what? It's kept me out of trouble. And since I can't sing or play a musical instrument, I got to do something else, you know? We've got a windy day ahead of us. Gusts 30, 40 miles an hour, lower 70s by late morning. Increasing clouds, mostly cloudy this afternoon, near 80, still breezy. Still breezy tonight, mostly cloudy, but mild, mid-60s for overnight lows. We got those morning thunderstorm chances tomorrow, mid-70s. Morning showers Friday, mid-60s. Much colder Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. So do be prepared for this big chill this weekend as we head into the start of next week. A few more shower chances and temperatures in the lower 60s. We'll be right back after this.
Right now at 6, breaking overnight, a shooting in Galena takes the life of one man and lands another in jail.
We've been watching these cameras bounce back and forth a little bit as we've got a very breezy and warm day ahead of us before more shower chances work in. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And the facts are in as PSU students turn in their findings on a variety of tests and experiments for the annual research curriculum.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, halfway through the work week. It is a shame we can't just call it good today and enjoy this one last really good day we have ahead of us. We're going to talk about that. But first, we do have a traffic alert for our friends in Webb City. And anybody traveling pretty much on MacArthur and Madison. Starting this morning at 9 a.m., the traffic signal at Madison and MacArthur, and as you all know, is a very busy intersection, is going to be shut off. That should only take about an hour, but they're going to be setting up the new pedestrian signals there, so do prepare for delays or try and find an alternate route. No significant weather-related delays, though. We may have a stray shower, possibly a rumble of thunder this afternoon. Our best chances for thunderstorms are going to come as we head into tomorrow morning across the area, and even then, while we'll see those showers and storms, we're not expecting anything too severe out of it. Let's take a look quickly at the current conditions across the area, and they look about like this. 65 Joplin, 64 Pittsburgh, Parsons, 67 Miami, at 62 in Neosho. Winds gusting 30, 40 miles an hour today, lower 70s by late morning, increasing clouds. Mostly cloudy skies, breezy today, still warm though, temperatures pushing near 80. And as we head into this evening, more windy conditions, more clouds, but still mild, temperatures down to the mid-60s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A Tuesday morning crash turns fatal for a Newton County man. The crash occurred about 11:20 on Route D, 4 miles east of Neosho. Daniel Jesperson, the driver of a 1994 Geo Prism, failed to negotiate a curve and traveled off the roadway. Prism then struck 2 road signs and the ground. Authorities pronounced Jesperson deceased at the scene. Man is now charged after a Missouri statewide Amber Alert Saturday evening. 23-year-old Matthew Honeycutt of Neosho is charged with felony kidnapping. Authorities are holding him in the Jasper County Jail with bond set at $250,000 cash only. The Amber Alert was issued for a 7-year-old Sarcoxie area girl. According to court filings, Honeycutt had the mother's permission to drive her car from her address with the child. That destination, though, was 10 minutes away to pick up a dog in Sarcoxie and then to drive straight back. He was gone 6 hours with the girl. The girl was found safe at I-44 exit 4. She is currently in state custody. Developing overnight, a shooting in Galena, Kansas leaves 1 man dead and another man in jail. Authorities responded to reports of a shooting on Tuesday evening just before 9 p.m. Galena Police and Cherokee County Sheriff's deputies stretched crime scene tape around a portion of 811 Columbus Avenue in the northwest part of town. Little information is being released at this time, but Sheriff David Groves did confirm 1 man is in custody.
The Sheriff's Office, along with Galena Police Department, are conducting the investigation. Law enforcement has taken a suspect into custody at this time, but we're still in the preliminary stages of the investigation and learning what events led up to the ultimate shooting.
Sheriff Groves went on to say he did not believe there was an ongoing threat to the public. Again, this is a developing story. We will have more information for you on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, as it becomes available. We're learning more about a Saturday morning shooting in Joplin. 28-year-old Christopher Carter now faces charges of 4th-degree assault and unlawful use and possession of a weapon. Court records also say he has history of crimes involving weapons. Joplin police believe Carter was denied entry into Club XO. They say a patron saw him walking to a car parked nearby. Patron said Carter then opened a car door and got an AR-15 pistol. Authorities say that was when the patron feared for the safety of himself and the public and grabbed Carter. The gun was fired during the struggle. No one was hit by the stray bullet. The Kansas City man accused of shooting a black teen on his front porch is expected to be arraigned in court today on felony charges. 84-year-old Andrew Lester is being charged with 1st-degree assault and armed criminal action for allegedly shooting 16-year-old Ralph Yarl last week. Miraculously, Yarl not only survived, but is already home from the hospital and recovering. Jared Hill has the latest.
An outpouring of support and frustration yesterday in Kansas City.
Racial hatred and implicit bias permeates our culture, and it impacts every aspect of Black lives.
That's right. Prosecutors say there was a racial component in the case of Ralph Yarl, the black 16-year-old shot in the head and arm last week when his family says he mistakenly rang the doorbell at the wrong house, trying to pick up his younger twin brothers. According to the criminal complaint, Andrew Lester, the 84-year-old white homeowner, says he picked up his gun and saw a black male approximately 6 feet tall, saying he was scared to death, adding the person outside was opening the screen door. Ralph insists he didn't.
The question is, at 5'8", at 140 pounds, what did Andrew Lester look out and see? And the answer is he saw a black person, and for him that was enough justification.
Lester is now out on bond. Ralph's mom told CBS Mornings her son is home recovering, but what happened sticks with him.
Mostly he just sits there and stares, and the buckets of tears just rolls down his eyes. You can see that he's just replaying the situation over and over again.
If convicted, Andrew Lester could spend the rest of his life in prison. Jared Hill, CBS News.
According to court records, Lester told police it was the last thing he wanted to do. The prosecutor says the maximum punishment for the assault charge Lester faces is life in prison. The range of punishment for armed criminal action is between 3 to 15 years. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. On Tuesday, Pittsburgh State University held its annual research curriculum. A research curriculum is when students present their findings of experiments and trials in multiple topics. The judges were Pitt State faculty and other community members who volunteered to judge the students' findings and presentations. The students have been researching their projects since last fall.
Yeah, so I'm also part of the lab team. There's 4 of us, and then our advisor, and then her grad assistant. And so we kind of just worked for a few months on like how to implement it, like what kind of activities we wanted to do, how we wanted to gauge what these individuals were able to do.
There were 68 poster presentations, 25 oral presentations, and 17 virtual presentations. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a historic court settlement.
Fox News and Dominion Voting settle a massive defamation case. I'm Jared Hill with why this agreement isn't the end of Fox's legal troubles.
Plus, research shows caloric information on menus may in fact lead to obesity prevention. And Chris has another look at your forecast and when the 4 states can expect to see some less windy days. Wouldn't that be nice? You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back, but here's another live look from Carthage, Missouri. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Tennessee voters now know when they get to decide if 2 Democratic state representatives expelled by Republicans can serve their full terms in office. Special election dates have been set to fill the seats of Democratic lawmakers Justin Jones and Justin J. Pearson. According to county election officials, the special election will be held on August 3rd. Primaries are set for June 15th. GOP lawmakers expelled Jones and Pearson from their seats in the state house last month after the two men joined in protest over gun violence. Both were reappointed to their seats days later, but only on an interim basis. The winners of the special election will serve the remainder of Pearson's and Jones's terms. Both representatives have said they intend to run again for their respective seats. 30 years ago, a small Texas community was at the center of a tragic end to a standoff that drew global attention. 51-day-long standoff between the religious sect, the Branch Davidians, and federal authorities came to a fiery end near Waco, Texas, back on April 19, 1993. 4 federal agents and 82 Branch Davidian members, including 24 children, died in a violent confrontation and ensuing fire. It started on February 28th of that year when ATF agents tried to arrest David Koresh for stockpiling illegal weapons. Koresh and Branch Davidian members refused to leave the compound, and a shootout ensued, followed by a 7-week-long standoff. FBI eventually decided to forcibly move in on the compound with tear gas. A fire then set the building ablaze. More than a dozen surviving Branch Davidian members were later charged with the deadly shootout at the compound. Highly anticipated case gets decided right before the trial begins. Yesterday, it was announced that the cable news giant has agreed to settle. That's according to voting machine maker Dominion Voting Systems, and it's believed to be one of the largest settlements in any defamation case in U.S. history. Jared Hill has the latest.
Truthful reporting in the media is essential to our democracy.
The CEO of Dominion Voting Systems says the nearly $800 million settlement of its defamation suit against Fox News is historic.
Today's settlement of $787,500,000 represents vindication and accountability. Lies have consequences.
Opening arguments were set to start yesterday in a Delaware court, but instead the judge announced the parties had resolved the case. Dominion originally sought $1.6 billion, arguing that Fox News knew the claims made by their guests and some hosts that Dominion helped rig the 2020 presidential election were false, but aired them anyway, damaging the company.
There are a lot of serious issues surrounding the state's Dominion voting machines.
Court records in the lead up to the settlement included internal communications showing that Fox hosts and executives doubted claims of election fraud. In a statement, the network acknowledged that the court found some of Fox's claims against Dominion to be false.
The settlement then avoids a trial on allegations. It, for at least Fox, appears to be over.
While the case with Dominion appears to be over, the network is still facing a similar defamation suit from Smartmatic, another voting system firm. Smartmatic is seeking $2.7 billion, and experts believe that case could end in a settlement as well. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Dominion's attorneys would not say whether there was anything else in the settlement besides money. After the announcement, Smartmatic released a statement saying it, quote, remains committed to clearing its name, recouping the significant damage done to the company, and holding Fox accountable. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
And we've got ourselves a warm and windy start across the area, but there are some changes on the way. We'll take a look at that complete forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Time for a little weather trivia. We want to know what type of cloud appears to be a lens or almond shape like that one there. Is it a cumulonimbus, an almondular, a lenticular, or a nacreous cloud? Well, we'll find out the answer in just a moment. But first, we do have a traffic alert for our friends in Webb City. If you are traveling around Madison and MacArthur, we've got some information for you. The traffic signal at Madison MacArthur is going to be shut off at 9 o'clock this morning. It's expected to last about an hour. A contractor connects new pedestrian signals. So I know this area, it's difficult to avoid it. If you can, do so for an hour or two, and otherwise prepare for delays. All right, no weather-related delays or any issues like that, at least through today. Could see a few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two as we head into this afternoon, but all in all, most of us are going to remain dry, cloudy, and breezy. It is tomorrow morning where we get our best shot for some showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder as we go into 6 a.m. Here we are at 10. That's already moving pretty quickly across the area to the east. And then as we head to the noon hour, you see it starts to actually look more like a line of thunderstorms. And as we head later into the afternoon, as it exits our area, it is going to really blossom. And that's going to cause some problems for our friends down in Arkansas. Our best rain chances tomorrow through about 11 noon, and then after that, this system exits and we start to clear out. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looking good so far. Same from the camera from KDOT at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and range line, starting to get some daylight out there. We are at 65 degrees in Joplin, south breeze at 16, gusting to 29. That's what we were talking about, is that we're going to have these wind gusts 20, 30, 40 miles an hour as we head through the day today. 65 in Chanute, 66 Chetopa, 67 Miami, 62 Neosho, and 65 in Carthage. So not a bad start for us at all, considering Monday we started out in the mid-30s. All right, the rest of today, increasing clouds through the morning hours. Breezy, lower 70s by late morning. We transition into the afternoon. Temperatures once again near 80 degrees out there. So despite the clouds and wind, still quite warm, but mostly cloudy, still breezy. We remain breezy even heading into the evening and overnight hours. And we'll stay mostly cloudy and still quite mild, dropping back to the mid 60s for overnight lows. All right, quickly. The answer to our question, what type of cloud appears as a lens or almond shape like that? Well, if you happen to pick C, lenticular clouds, you would be correct. Lenticular clouds are created by horizontal wave-like motions in the atmosphere and are most frequently seen, like that one, in mountainous regions. All right, mid-70s tomorrow, mid-60s Friday, maybe a morning shower or two. But if you've got outdoor vegetation, anything like that that you either need to cover or bring in, have your plan ready to go by Friday. We're not too bad Friday evening. Chillier, but not too bad. 43. Could be down to freezing Saturday night and not far above freezing Sunday night. So we've got a couple, 3 nights where it's going to get downright cold for those plants outside. And our weekend much cooler too. 54 Saturday, 59 Sunday. We're going to hang out in the lower 60s, upper 50s as we go into next week. And we'll see some periodic chances of showers and thunderstorms. That's a check your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the FDA has authorized a second dose of the bivalent COVID-19 vaccine for those 65 and older, at least 4 months after their first shot. The new rules also allow those with weakened immune systems to receive a second dose at least 2 months after their first. And going forward, all COVID vaccines will use the bivalent formula, protecting against the first strain and the Omicron variant. Eating an unhealthy diet with foods like high-fat dairy, processed meats, and sweets may increase the risk of aggressive prostate cancer. A study of more than 15,000 men in Spain looked at the link between prostate cancer and diet. Researchers found that those who followed a Mediterranean diet filled with fish, vegetables, and olive oil saw no change in the risk of prostate cancer, but those who ate a more Western diet saw a higher risk of the disease. And all those calorie counts you see on menus are making a difference in terms of preventing obesity and cancer. In 2018, the FDA mandated restaurants include calories on their menus, and a new study at the Tufts University finds that's led to a net decrease of 20 to 60 calories consumed per meal. Researchers estimate this could prevent at least 28,000 obesity-related cancer deaths and $2.8 billion in healthcare costs. A new troubling study on vaping in the U.S. The American Cancer Society finds more younger adults are using e-cigarettes. Naomi Ruckham has more.
It's considered a serious public health concern. Now a new study shows a significant increase in vaping among younger adults. According to the American Cancer Society, almost 750,000 more young adults ages 18 to 29 in the United States used e-cigarettes between 2019 and 2021.
The more troubling aspect of it is that this increase was restricted to those who had never smoked combustible cigarettes.
The research shows more than 2.5 million young adults who used e-cigarettes in 2021 had never smoked traditional cigarettes.
They have short-term impacts on our lung airways. They have cardiovascular risks because of the nicotine in them, the variety of flavors that are included in e-cigarettes. And importantly, we don't know the long-term impacts of using these products.
With young adults the highest risk group for nicotine addiction, researchers say these numbers are going in the wrong direction.
There are several studies, strong evidence that shows starting with e-cigarettes leads to progression to combustible tobacco products, including cigarettes.
And the American Cancer Society says that is something we don't want to happen. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
This latest research was conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic and when there was an outbreak of nearly 3,000 severe lung injuries related to vaping. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a pretty decent day. We'll be mostly cloudy and breezy, and we're talking wind gusts 30, 40 miles an hour out there. Regardless, though, temperatures still warming up. We're talking highs pushing near 80 again. We'll take another look at that complete forecast and those incoming rain chances when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 6:30, business works best when it benefits the community. KOAM's Carrie Worthen takes us to Treasures in Carthage, where service is the business of the day.
We've got ourselves a warm and windy day ahead of us with some incoming rain chances. We'll talk about all that coming up.
And local poets get a chance to express themselves at the Spiva Center for the Arts in 1,000 words.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is almost 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Do you have any idea how many tripping hazards there are in this studio?
Well, if you guys if you would just grow a foot, then it wouldn't be a problem.
To probably make it even harder to see. I didn't even see it now. I mean, it's painted black, so it blends in with the floor. You know, the magic of television. But
he's talking about our boxes, our studio boxes.
Well, anyway, they're tripping hazards. But what is not a tripping hazard is today's forecast. In fact, today's forecast is it's going to knock you down kind of hazard. This floor was recently waxed. I think that's what the problem is. We could see an afternoon shower or storm as we head through today. Not anticipating much out of that. Otherwise, we're going to be cloudy. We're going to be pretty decent. As we head into tomorrow morning, that's when we see our better chance for showers and storms by about 6 a.m. across southeast Kansas. And you can see these are scattered showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder. Now, by noon, the line starts to get a little more stronger. So we're not talking severe weather, just a few more actual thunderstorms. And as it starts to exit our area, that's when it really picks up its intensity. Our best chances for rain go up through about the noon hour. And then, of course, they will taper off as this guy moves on out of here. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looking good this morning. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. We got a few clouds out there this morning, otherwise not bad. 65, south breeze at 16, gusting to 29, and wind gusts 30, 40 miles an hour are going to be commonplace today. 64 Nevada, Pittsburgh, Parsons, 65 Chanute, 67 Miami, and 63 in Neosho. We get our day started again breezy, increasing clouds through the morning, low 70s. Heading into this afternoon, that's when we go mostly cloudy, still breezy, but that doesn't stop us from warming up. Temperatures near 80 again, and a mild evening ahead of us. Cloudy skies, breezy, and into the mid-60s for overnight lows. Mid-70s tomorrow with the storms, maybe a shower or two Friday morning, mid-60s, and then get your plants ready so we get the big cool down coming into the weekend. 43 Friday, 54 Saturday, 32 and 59 on Sunday with a low of 38, so make sure your vegetation is protected. And we return to the lower 60s by next week with some additional shower chances. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the Crisis Center and Treasures on Main in Carthage are working together to help those in need. KOAM's Carrie Worthen joins us with more.
It's a partnership that brings in more than money. It's helping those facing major challenges get back on their feet.
Being a recipient of the gifts that I receive here means everything.
Jennifer is just one of 30 other people staying at the crisis center adjacent to Treasures on Main. The center helps those who are experiencing crises such as homelessness get back on their feet.
Well, from the moment the stuff is donated to the time it makes it to the shelf, the love that's poured in from everybody to make this happen is huge.
So what we do is we bring people in and we provide everything that they need so that they can be successful.
Executive Director Jim Benton says they provide the housing, food, and even the chance to earn money while living in the center.
But their goal is to remove the barriers. Some of them have legal problems, some of them have addiction problems, but we address all of those so that they can stay with us for a while, get set, and then go out and get a job, a house, transportation, and they're all set.
I'm going to be a nurse. I came here broken. I have completely restored my life from the ground up, and it's thanks to the blood, sweat, and tears of everyone here working together for the good of everyone that comes in the door.
The thrift store, which is operated by the center, does more than just help pay for the group's bills. Those staying at the crisis center are also able to pick out clothes off the racks.
A lot of times people come out of jail or wherever they're off the streets or whatever else, and they don't have any clothes. So we give them a whole outfit. We've got new underwear in the back for our residents, and so we take care of everybody that needs it.
Getting clean, getting off the streets, changing the people that I'm around, all of those things have been a lot easier since I came here.
To get their new clothing, those living at the center earn vouchers by helping in a thrift store. Tanya?
All right, well, Carrie, I'm curious though, like, what is the price of some of the items if you were to go in and purchase things in there off the street?
So if you're not a member of the crisis center, if you go out off the street, adult clothing's $3, unless they're name brand clothing like you saw in the package. There's a Ralph Lauren blazer for a man, and it's probably around $5 for that. So it's still pretty cheap prices.
All right, and you're helping out a good center too. Where is Treasures on Main located?
It is located, hold on, I have to write that down because I couldn't remember, 106 South Main Street. So it's catty corner from the police station, right on the corner. You can't miss it.
All right, thank you so much, Carrie.
You're welcome.
The Spiva Center for the Arts gave local poets a chance to put their skills to the test. They hosted their 15th annual 1,000 Words event. People were able to write a poem about the images on display for the center's National Photography exhibit. On Tuesday, those poems were read off.
15th year, and it's a poetry event that goes along. The different poets come in, they pick a photo to be inspired by, and then they sign up, and then tonight they're reading their poems. And it's just kind of a cool way to do something with this exhibit, the Photo Spiva exhibit.
The National Photography exhibit will run through May 13th. It was signing day at Pitt State, but not for athletes. Tuesday was all about the students in the electrical program. 9 students signed with companies for full-time employment and 3 signed internships. Industry representatives were there to celebrate, and officials say it's important that these students get the recognition they deserve.
So our program is very unique. We focus on residential, commercial, and industrial wiring. And our main goal is to introduce them to as many different wiring methods, as many different situations, tools, materials as we can while we have them to better equip them out in the field.
The event was held in the rotunda of Pitt State's Kansas Technology Center. Well, this morning, we are discussing local governments having power over businesses.
Florida's powerful and popular Governor Ron DeSantis under increasing pressure over his fight with Disney. Former President Donald Trump posting on his social media website that DeSantis is being, quote, absolutely destroyed by Disney, and that DeSantis is engaging in a political stunt.
Trump joins other top Republicans like possible presidential candidate Chris Christie, who are slamming DeSantis for not being able to outmaneuver Disney's CEO. The heat is turned up on DeSantis after his latest threat against Disney to raise Disney's taxes or build something right near Disney's land near Orlando.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. How much power should local governments have over businesses? So far, 67% of you say no power, and 33% of you say they should have very little power. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and of course take part in discussion on our Facebook page.
None of our viewers all morning have thought that the government should have power. There you go.
No, they have not.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. It's the end of an era at Netflix as the movie rental giant says goodbye to its DVD collection.
And we've got ourselves a warm and windy day across the 4 states. We'll take another look at that forecast. But first, here's a live look from Carthage.
In Consumer Watch this morning, Southwest Airlines has resumed normal operations after a technology glitch temporarily grounded the company's fleet yesterday morning. Even though the software malfunction lasted less than an hour, it led to more than 2,200 flight delays. That's according to FlightAware. No bones about it, a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton fetched just over $6 million at an auction in Zurich, Switzerland yesterday. Skeleton was constructed with 239 bones from 3 different T-Rexes that were found in Montana and Wyoming between 2008 and this year. The buyer's identity was not disclosed at the time of purchase. As families look to make more environmentally friendly choices, an old-fashioned idea is making a comeback. Disposable diapers wind up in landfills, while cloth diapers present a greener alternative. And as Bradley Blackburn reports, companies are trying to make them more convenient for busy parents.
Every parent knows that a new bundle of joy comes with other bundles too. Dirty diapers headed for landfills.
I think it is pretty scary to think about the fact that that first disposable diaper is still sitting in a landfill somewhere.
Nina Lassam is helping families make a greener choice. She owns Diaper Kind, a New York-based service delivering a cloth alternative to front doorsteps.
So this is where the route bins are prepared.
For about $40 a week, the company supplies 90 organic cotton diapers to customers like Lara Sati Vito, mother of 8-week-old Matisse.
For us, it's Tuesday evening, so they come and pick up all the used diapers.
The company takes the soiled diapers to wash, pH test, and inspect for stains, then returns them to be used again.
I think it's important to try and minimize our waste whenever we can. And when you think that a newborn especially, uses more than 10 diapers, I think that there's really something that we can do there to kind of do better.
According to the EPA, disposable diapers account for more than 4 million tons of municipal waste every year. They can take up to 500 years to decompose. Companies similar to Diaper Kind are working to make cloth diapers popular again, with modern designs and systems to help parents who prefer to do their own laundry. Lassam, a mom herself, says cloth diapers can also help potty training happen earlier.
That's one of the huge cost savings of cloth diaper services, is that you use them for a much shorter amount of time.
And bottom line, she says, it's leaving the planet a little cleaner for generations to come. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Brooklyn, New York.
Diaper Kind says last year alone they helped keep 1 million diapers out of landfills. And right now they offer their service in New York, New Jersey, and Austin, Texas. But there are other diaper services in cities across the country. Netflix is shutting down its DVD rental business after a 25-year run. This fall, the streaming giant will officially say goodbye to its DVD rental service and all of the red envelopes that made it possible. The company tweeted Tuesday it'll send out its last red envelope on September 29th. It has reportedly mailed out more than 5 billion DVD and Blu-ray rentals to subscribers across the U.S. since 1998. CEO Ted Sarandos issued a statement saying the shrinking DVD business made it increasingly difficult to provide the best service for its members. This decision to end DVD rentals, Sarando said, will help Netflix maintain its quality of service and, quote, go out on a high note. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
We got a pretty decent day for us today. Well, I have got a nice start to the morning. Lower 70s by late morning, increasing clouds. We're also going to be breezy as winds are going to be gusting 30, 40 miles an hour through the day. As we head into the afternoon, again, breezy, mostly cloudy skies. Highs once again near 80 degrees. And as we head into this evening, still mild, breezy, cloudy, only 70 by 10. Overnight lows in the mid, possibly even upper 60s for some of us across the area. So a nice mild evening, at least one more of these that we have left before things really start to get cold. We'll talk more about that in your full forecast a little later, but right now we've done it. We made it to Wednesday, and that sounds like a phenomenal reason to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. So you know what? We're going to do that coming up. But before we do that, you know what we've got to do. Let's take a trip to New York City and see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian's big push to fight climate change. Hear from him and some of the young entrepreneurs he's backing who are tackling this crisis for all of us. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states, and we're going to kick off in Parsons with Marconi's Scott Adamson, celebrating birthday number 5 in a great Buzz Lightyear costume. Sorry, Buzz Lightyear. Where did I get Buzz Year? It's been, whatever. But that's a fantastic outfit there, Marconi. Very happy birthday to you.
Pretty cool. And Maddie York is celebrating birthday number 9 this year. This pretty girl is in Weir, Kansas.
And we've got ourselves Charisma Little celebrating birthday number 9 in Joplin. Happy birthday, Charisma.
I like that name. Abby West is celebrating birthday number 18. Welcome to adulthood, Abby, in Webb City.
And Tressa Reed in McCune celebrating a birthday today. Very happy birthday to you, Tressa.
And we got the Brunez twins, Yvette and Yvonne, are celebrating birthday number 56 this year, and I love it. Look at those throwback bike pictures.
We've also got Bob Reynolds, better known as the Hillbilly, celebrating birthday number 79 in Chanute. Very happy birthday to you, Bob.
Looking good in purple there. And Orrin Burris is celebrating birthday number 83 this year out in Nevada, Missouri. This is a birthday wish coming from your daughter, Jeannie, and she's in the picture there with you.
Our list goes on with Ashley Ohm celebrating birthday number 44 in McCune. Happy birthday, Ashley.
And Matthew Bacon celebrating another year wiser in Pittsburgh.
Well, let's keep the celebrations coming for the rest of the week. How can they help us celebrate all week long, every week?
All they have to do is send their birthday information to this simple email. Don't forget the S on it. birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, when you're on our website checking out all the cool stuff that's over there, make sure you take time to check out the coolest feature of all. It's the KOAM Birthday Club. You get special deals from local businesses. You also get a birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to KOAMnewsnow.com. Sign up for that birthday club today. All right, I forgot to back this up, so give me just 2 seconds to get this thing backed all the way up here. All right. So we could see a stray shower or two as we head into this afternoon, say around 2 o'clock, but as you can see, it's going to be very isolated, very scattered at best, and they're not going to last very long. Our better chance for storms comes in tomorrow morning around 6. We get some scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms out there, and that'll progress off to the east by 10. By noon, it tries to start picking up a little more steam, so a few more thunderstorms along this line, and as the afternoon wears on and it pushes off to our southeast, that's where they're looking at the severe threat. We're not really looking at much of a severe threat for our area. Rain chances will be best through the morning up to about noon, and then of course as the line moves on out of here, the rain chances will drop down. Unfortunately, wow, what in the world? I just snorted. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I don't even know how that happened. Unfortunately, our temperatures are going to fall too. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looks good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. You can see a few clouds out there. Otherwise, not bad. 65. South breeze at 16, gusting to 29. And those winds will continue to gust from upwards of 30, 40 miles an hour through today and tonight. 64 Lamar, Pittsburgh, Parsons, 65 in Chanute, 67 Miami, at 63 in Neosho. As we get our morning started again, breezy. increasing cloud cover. Late morning, mostly cloudy in the lower 70s. We head into the afternoon. Despite the cloud cover, still making nearly 80 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies, breezy, and continuing tonight. Mostly cloudy skies, breezy, mild though. Look at that, 70 by 10, overnight lows in the mid-60s. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Tuesday morning crash turns fatal for a Newton County man. The crash occurred about 11:20 on Route D, 4 miles east of Neosho. Daniel Jesperson, the driver of a 1994 Geo Prism, failed to negotiate a curve and traveled off the roadway. The Prism then struck 2 road signs and the ground. Authorities pronounced Jesperson deceased at the scene. Shooting in Galena, Kansas leaves 1 man dead and another in jail. Authorities responded to reports of a shooting on Tuesday evening just before 9 p.m. Galena police and Cherokee County Sheriff's deputies stretched crime scene tape around a portion of 811 Columbus Avenue in the northwest part of town. Sheriff David Groves did confirm charges have been discussed. 28-year-old Christopher Carter faces charges of 4th-degree assault and unlawful use and possession of a weapon for a Saturday morning shooting in Joplin. Court records also say he has a history of crimes involving weapons. Joplin police believe Carter was denied entry into Club XO. They say a patron saw him walking to a car parked nearby, and the patron said Carter then opened a car door and got an AR-15 pistol. The gun was fired during the struggle. Transgender girls and women would no longer be allowed to play on the same team as other girls and women under a bill passed in Missouri's Republican-led House. Lawmakers voted 104 to 46 to send the measure to the GOP-led Senate, which passed similar legislation earlier this year. The ban would apply to student athletes in 6th grade through college. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, a mild start, warm day near 80, mostly cloudy, breezy, winds gusting 30, 40, and that will continue through the overnight as well. We'll have mostly cloudy skies, temperatures back down to the mid-60s. Rain chances, thunderstorms tomorrow morning, maybe a shower Friday morning, much colder heading into the weekend, so make sure your vegetation is protected. As you can see, we're looking at the possibility of a freeze this weekend. We start to warm up a little bit next week, Monday, Tuesday, low 60s, and some shower chances.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making steak pizzaiola in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kielman discusses the historic defamation settlement between Dominion Voting Systems and Fox News. Plus, Dominion's lead attorney will talk about why they didn't go to trial. That's next on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we've got Denise Fitzpatrick and Andrew Lett from the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce heading into the studio to talk about a big Earth Day event coming up this weekend.
Plus, we've got Bright Futures Joplin heading into the studio to talk about the annual Guns and Hoses matchup for charity. So make sure you stick with us. That's going to wrap it up for us for here on KOAM. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
That's right. And we'll see you again today at noon.